welcome to this week's episode of the Gavel Drops with our auction experts, Vicky and Mark. Welcome to the Gavel Drop studio.
Thank you very much.
So we'll kick straight off. How did you guys get into property?
I've been in property since forever. Well, I got my first Saturday job when I was 18 in an estate agent's. Hated it, went off and did loads of other things, lots of other roles. I had a couple of kids and then fell back into it about 15 so years ago. Property maintenance, estate agency, you name it, I have done it, and now auctions.
All the hats you've worn in property, what's the favourite one?
Not just saying this because I'm on the Gavel Drops, but auctions, 100%.
What's that thing that obviously differentiates between all the others that makes you go, do you know what, actually this is where I should have started?
It's just more interesting. Every day is different. I know throughout my entire career, I've always said every day is different, but it really, really is. Every day is different. Like every hour is different. It's a journey.
And it's all her fault. It's all her fault. I do it.
So she dragged you into the world of property.
4 years deep and she corrupted me. Terrible.
So what was what have you been doing then, Mark? What's been your main like career?
My main sales. Business to customer sales, cars, furniture, bathrooms, kitchens, all those people nobody wants to go see.
That everyone wants to, yeah.
Nobody wants to come and see us.
Yeah, right. I think that's the thing with property, isn't it? It's once you're in it, it's hard to get out of it.
Definitely. Once you've got into it and you're enjoying it, absolutely. It's a great thing to do, especially now that we've found auction. It is just so, it's not easy, but it's rewarding.
Thing is, though, anything that's rewarding is never easy, is it?
No.
I think that's the key. So you've joined the auction experts. You started your auction business, as you would say. You had, was it the June auction, wasn't it? That was
It was.
the step into the auction world. To be fair to the two years, the two sales you had could either make you or literally break you, because they wasn't easy, either of them, was they? Wasn't like you kind of dipped your toe in and started the auction process with a couple of little cheeky easy ones. It was kind of two of the auction crackers that you'll probably, but then they put you in good stead now, because anything else now is going to be easy.
It's easy now. I mean, when you look at a terraced house that's basically a duplex flat and try and sell that with no garden.
I remember speaking to Addy before the Wednesday, and you were both going, do you know what, let's just pull it. Let's just pull this one. I just can't cope anymore.
I'll let you talk
100%.
about that one, Vicky.
Yeah, 100%. I was ready to wave goodbye to that property and all of the owners and never look at it ever again. Yeah. And when you say it could have made us or break us, it could have gone either way.
And then Wednesday come auction day, your first ever auction day, you'd worked your ass off, both of you, to get it to that point. Because I think people forget that it's a lot of work to get it to auction day in the first place, and then it's got to sell. So what was it? What was that feeling of auction day?
Oh, I mean, I've said this before. I felt sick from getting up at 6:30 in the morning that day up to the auction finishing. I just wanted to throw up. It was awful, but great at the same time. That makes no sense. But yeah, I can't really, you've got to experience it to understand, I think, the highs and the lows.
Oh, especially when you've got vendors messaging you saying, oh, there's people bidding. We need more. Just we know.
It's a roller coaster, isn't it? Auction day.
Massively. It's such
an incentive, isn't it?
It's such an extreme. I mean, I am not a fan of roller coasters of the traditional kind, but this was like the worst one I've ever had to go on. But it was great at the end.
And people always ask me this question, why is the auction so short? And I always say, have you ever sat there and watched an auction for like 15 minutes? It can feel a long time.
It'll be the longest 15 minutes of your life, definitely.
Yeah, because the majority of the time, the activity, because someone said to me, well, why don't you do it for like an hour? And I was like, because the activity is always in the last 15 minutes anyway. So if you can imagine our auctions, if they're 15-minute slot, majority of like real auction activity is in the last 2 minutes. And then obviously if someone bids at the last, it extends. But it can be a lot longer than you think, a 15-minute auction slot when you're watching it.
100%.
So were they messaging you during the auction?
We had a WhatsApp group with them that we'd set up so we could obviously just communicate with them all transparently. And they were dropping messages into the chat watching the auction going, we need more. Is it going to make it? I'm like, for God's sake, I don't know. Leave me alone.
We've got our own problems here. You just deal with yourself.
Yeah. It would be it'd be good to have, like, imagine being with a seller on auction day.
I think that'd be a really, really good. If we could get one, that would be a really, really good thing.
Yeah.
For them to witness how it actually goes with us, and obviously then celebrating as well.
Yeah, I think that's something we'll definitely do with the right one at the right time. We'll definitely get that set up.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think as well, it's good for the seller to see how passionate you are as auction experts, because you're invested in that process. It's not just another property; it's an investment that you've put in to get it to that sell point. So it'll be good for both sides to see the seller, you as an auction expert, to see that seller's reaction, and then obviously them to see your reaction of how, like, invested you are in selling their properties.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I don't think as a seller you would ever necessarily appreciate how invested we are. Like, it might as well be our property. We are that invested, like, from throughout the whole process, and certainly on the auction day. So it would be good for them to see, that that's not a front or like a pitch that we put to people. We are like basically selling our own property here. We are that into it, and it'd be good for them to see that.
It's a hard one to explain, isn't it? But when you're invested in it yourself, you do want them to sell and sell well. So you kind of feel like you're selling it's like your property when you're selling it.
Definitely.
What was the feeling afterwards when it sold?
15 minutes of elation, literally, and then the WhatsApp group started again with what happens now? What happens now? When are we going to do? When do I have to move out? And it's like, well, just give me a minute.
We say it a lot. It's like people's lives you're dealing with, and people go, "Oh, they're only selling the house." Oh, but it's that thing, isn't it? Yes, you've sold it. They're made up. You're like, we got rid of it. Sold for a great price as well. But then the seller then has loads more questions. Well, when's the money coming? Have they paid the deposit? And then it starts again for the completion process. And then, unfortunately, the day after, you're on to the next auction.
Yeah, that's it. It's constant, isn't it? It's like, right, that's auction day done. Right, what on to the next one? Like, we need more stock. We need to do this whole thing again.
So, if, say, for a new auction expert coming in, what would be your tip to get over the first auction? Can't be like just sit there and drink loads of wine. It has to be something constructive.
The wine does help, though.
I would probably say to them, just expect to experience it like you are selling your own property. Like, wherever you live now, you may as well feel like this is yours, because yes, you are dealing with people's lives, and no, that's not an over dramatic thing to say. We are dealing with people's lives, and you're moving them on to, like, in that case, a family, on to the next chapter. You need to be invested, and you need to just run with it and just do absolutely everything you can to make it as less of a roller coaster for your client, at least, even if not for yourself, as you can.
Yeah, and just be prepared for an absolute roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
Be prepared, isn't it? And it's hard to prepare for that, but at least if you give them the insight of it is going to be an up and down roller coaster, it's probably emotions that some people have never really felt of doing an auction or selling at an auction. And I think as well, from a sales perspective, when you're the salesperson, it is that buzz of selling.
Yeah, it's for me. It's still, I still get from going through the auction. It's the same as selling whatever car I was selling it years ago, or the furniture I was selling, and you get that buzz of the sale. You still get with auction day.
Yeah, with the houses. Do you prefer, because you sold one before? So now looking at it, do you prefer to sell before, or actually would you rather now? I said to you, you've got one to choose, and all your lots are going to go that way. So they're either going to sell before or sell on auction day. What would you pick?
For me, I'd go auction.
I would go auction as well. because I'm
So you'd
sadistic.
sell,
Yeah.
you'd sell on auction day.
Yeah.
See, and
Yeah.
then that's when you know you're in the right place because the emotions you're like, but I still wouldn't want to not get that emotion in the day.
There's a bit of elation from, yeah, I'll take that. I'll give you that. I'll take it free. But it's not the same as watching it and going, oh no, what's happening? And then
Yeah.
you get it, you get what you want at the end. That's just so much better.
No, because I think like for me, pre-auction offers, yeah, they're brilliant and great, it's job done. But it's kind of like just normal sales. An offer's come in, it's been accepted. Yeah, God, it's it's escalated on a massive scale and it's going to complete a hell of a lot quicker. But it's the same process as sitting in branch, getting an offer, getting it accepted. Right, I've sold it. It's not that exciting. Auction is.
Yeah, you couldn't replace that auction buzz. I think for me, it's always been getting the price right. It's seeing the people as if, what I say, fight out. Yeah, I'd seeing the other bidders like fight out. Do you know what I mean? And start bidding against.
Yeah.
And I like to as well. I always like in my mind write down, think what it's going to sell for, to see if I can get it right.
Yeah, there is like little games you could have with yourself on auction day just to keep yourself entertained.
And I love, because I've done a few live streamed auctions to like the team now, and I love the fact of watching, because the last one we done, I done with the MDs and they were all round, like with them on the big screen, just watching them watch the auction and start talking amongst themselves, going, nah, it's that sold, that's not going to go any higher. It's going, oh, who's that? Who's bidder number 5? I didn't even see bidder number 5 before. That's his first bid. I'm watching them get, because they were all sitting down at the start. At the end, some people were like, I can't watch it anymore. Actually, no. And then the others were standing up. One of them was walking, like pacing the room. Couldn't believe it. It's like, yeah, you can't beat auction day. You
No,
just launched the auction experts in your area. What's your mission behind Used To as an auction expert brand?
for me, I think initially I want to change people's mindsets where we are about that method of sale because where we live, I think Mark would agree, is very, very traditional. There's loads of property. There's some really, really high value property around here. But a lot of people are set in the ways and don't see auction as something that, that's not for me, that's not for my property. See it as sort of something that is only used in desperate times and for properties that people desperately need to get rid of. And I'd like to just change people's perception of auctions.
Traditional.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
round here, it's more of a dirty word around this area. They don't necessarily get it, understand it. Like Vicky says, it's a desperation form of sale. That's the only reason you go. But
I think, because I had a conversation a couple of days ago with a seller, and even though they have to sell it quick, his mindset was still the same of he didn't class himself as an auction seller. And that was his word. I don't really class myself as an auction seller. And I was like, oh, my property is an auction property. And I was like, but the property's kind of irrelevant, really. You need to sell in 60 days. That's the need. There's no, I can't. You have to sell or at least secure a sale within the next 30, 60 days. And he was like, well, yeah. I said, so whether your property's an auction property or not, you're an auction seller because that's the only way you're going to do it. Private treaty route's not going to be able to give you that.
no, it's guaranteed.
Guarantee. And I think that's the key. So your main focus is educating sellers, educating buyers, the benefits of auction in your local area. But then what's the end goal for yous as a business?
We want to be overseas. We wanted a business or model that we could take anywhere and work from. We want to be in Dubai in within sort of 5 years or there or thereabouts. And we wanted something a vehicle that could get us there that we could still have and work from anywhere. And this is perfect.
Yeah, I mean we've been looking at, well, not looking at, we've been speaking with a lead in down Canary Wharf, and the likelihood is we won't ever have to visit. We've got photographers in place, a videographer, viewing assistants through contacts that Vicky knows, and what's the other thing? I always forget the name of it. Viewer.
Yeah. And I've
So
used Viewer.
So it doesn't matter where in the country it is. With connections that Vicky's got from previous agents, we generally know somebody in a certain area and we can either split with them or we can do a co-working. or we can just get freelancers to go in and cover it for us while we're sat wherever.
That's it. I mean, I obviously saw this as something you can do from anywhere, but as time goes on, I think that just becomes more apparent because I've spoken to, on this Canary Wharf one, I have spoken to people that I did training as a hybrid estate agent back in 2018 who are doing still in property because let's face it, you don't really leave if it's for you. And they've given me loads of contacts that can cover these things. I've got the option of, joint agent with people like that. There's so many different ways of doing it and still doing a good job from wherever you are.
So it's more of you're building like would you say it's like a freedom business in the end to give you the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it?
Definitely.
If we want to be driving around Europe for 90 days, we can go drive around Europe for 90 days, but yet still perform, find properties, sell properties, and enjoy the world.
People always say, yeah, but can you? And it's like, I run the auctions from the Wirral majority of the time. That's where I live. But not last month, the month before, I run them from a balcony in Marbella. Done the auction, done the same thing. I done the same like role that I would do on an auction day in the UK than I did on an auction day in Marbella. You can literally sell them anywhere.
Exactly. And even if we're, say, for argument's sake, sat in an apartment in Dubai watching the auction, we are still going to have friends, contacts, associates that are viewing assistants in Oldham, in Salford, whatever, doing that on our behalf. We don't have to go and do that. We don't necessarily need to be part of that to sell the property.
And I think when you start out in business, if you haven't got a goal of where you want it to get to, you literally just like go down the road, don't you, of business. Whereas when you've got a plan and go, well, I need to get to X, and to get to X, I need to do this. So you're already now, if you look at it from a logistic point of view, you're already putting plans in place now for 5 years.
Oh yeah, and that's how it needs to be, because we'll take property from anywhere in the UK and we'll sell it. So even now, that's the more of that we can build up, the better. The bigger our network will get of associates, viewing experts, photographers, videographers, and we'll have everything in place.
Yeah. And then it's literally just putting people together and organising the people you need to organise.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got a group of trusted people, it's the same in anything in property. It's like I've run maintenance companies where you've got a group of trusted tradespeople. As long as you know they're going to do a good job, all you need to do is work out when they need to do that and put a plan in place, and that happens. And you sort of take the reward off the back of it. It's the same. This is exactly the same. Like I say, I'm still going to have property in Oldham whilst I'm sat on a balcony in Dubai, or in aircon in Dubai, probably more to the point.
We can sit outside in December.
And imagine, so picture that sitting outside on a balcony in Dubai in December, selling properties in the UK.
See, that's it. That's the goal. That's
Yeah.
In the warmth, enjoying
No
the
slush.
sun, no slush around the UK, no snow, no cold. That'd be one of them ones where you'd put on your Instagram. But that's the thing, it can be done. It's just getting your goals set out and obviously getting the plan in place and then building out your business to structure that way in order to give you that like opportunity to do that. So walk me through a typical standard auction experts for Vicky and Mark day.
so thankfully we're both quite similar. We are both early birds when it comes to getting up and starting the day. And my most kind of productive time of day, I'd say, is probably between 5 in the morning and 10 in the morning. But like during that time, I can get a hell of a lot of stuff done, and focus. And then the rest of the day, to be fair, I can just kind of do what I want. I can do as much or as little as I want, but I know that I've put, say, 4 or 5 solid hours in the morning of social media, of contacting vendors, direct to vendor letters, messages, emails, Facebook messages, that kind of thing. I am a planner as well. So all social media, well, the basic social media is always kind of planned for the next 30 days or so. And then everything else is ad hoc. Whenever you feel like making a video, you just do that as well. And I get a list out every morning and I tick it off because I am a little bit old school like that. do like a list and I like to tick off what I've done. And come lunchtime, usually I've done it and that's me. I've got the rest of the day to either do some more letters or not do some more letters or whatever I want to do.
So do you think it's the structure?
Yeah. I think it's structure and consistency.
Consistency is the biggest thing. Is being consistent with it. We've targeted ourselves with so many direct to vendor letters to go out a day, so many social media posts we want to get created that are ready then for the next weeks going forward. So we can just drop them in randomly on top of the already pre-planned social media.
I think a lot of people think that they can post you speak to people all the time and they go, oh, that in whatever business they're trying to build, in whatever brand they're trying to build, and they go, well, I posted for 2 weeks and I didn't get a single like, or I only got 5 likes on a post or something like that. People just give up too easily and you can't. You've got to keep up your momentum somehow and you've got to be consistent.
100%. And I think the main focus I've found from social media is who are you posting it for? And the question you ask yourself, and Gary Vaynerchuk said it, who is it actually you're posting that post for? Are you posting it for yourself? Or are you posting it to give, is it education for someone? Or is the post for someone else? So do you know what I mean? Do you want to teach someone something? So it could be, as an auction expert, are you posting, look at this so you don't feel like because 20 likes or 10 likes, you've got no likes? Or if you flip it on its head and say, yeah, but if you've done a video about the aspect of selling an auction, what's the difference between selling an auction and private treaty? That's technically not for you because you already know it, but it's for someone else who doesn't. Because we've done challenges, having the video challenge in the group and stuff like that. And I always say to people, if I rung you today and said, I can put you in a room with 10 people who want to listen to you or 20 people who want to listen to you and your business about auction, would you say, no, I wouldn't do that because there's only 20 people? But if you ring me and there's 50 people there, I'd do it. But if there's only 20, I won't. Or 10, you'd go, yeah, of course. If there's 10 people in the room, 10 people who potentially will want to sell a house, yeah, I'll be there. But then if you get 10 likes on a social media post, you go,
wow,
yeah, that's not, I'm giving up on this. Because you've generated direct to social media leads.
Yeah, you've had. So I've had through direct through TikTok. He randomly followed me a couple of weeks ago. He's been following the content that we've been posting, and then on Sunday morning he messaged me at 5:30 in the morning. I did think we were a little bit, but here we are. I answered him at 6:30. We gave him a bit of information. He's out the wrong way around. He can't sell it. Sell it for anything less. He'd be taking a loss. He hasn't got the money to then cover the mortgage difference, so he's in a little bit of an awkward situation. But that lead came purely from my personal TikTok social media.
Yeah, because people buy from people, don't they? And I think that's the key with social media is if people connect with you on social media, which is the connect. When you look at it, if he followed you for 2 weeks, point one is he followed you, so he's seen your posts. Person then feels like they've got to know you a bit over the 2 weeks, so then they feel comfortable with you, and then that's when they've approached you to say, could you sell my house quicker than what I'm currently trying to sell it for?
Yeah, absolutely. And then Vicky, you do the groups, don't you?
Yeah, so I reach out to people who are trying to sell privately or are posting on social media because they've had a sale fallen through and they're looking, it's back on the market or it's going back on the market. And I'll reach out to them and say, look, have you thought about doing it this way? I mean, it's not for everybody, but having these conversations, it's just educating people on the process. All we've ever say to people is, look, it's honest. The price might not work for you, like in the case where the mortgage is too high or whatever the case is. But even if I talk to 20 people in that position and I get one property to sell, I've been honest with the other 19. And do you know what? They might actually speak to their sister or their neighbor or whatever, and that might turn into a lead because you've had conversations. You've not just gone, no, sorry, I can't help you. I will spend time on the phone and back and forth on email and advise them the best I can, even if that's like get another agent or, reduce the price by $5,000 or whatever, but I can't help you.
Yeah, if you give them honest advice, and they may never be an auction seller, but as you say, someone they know may be an auction seller. And I've had that in the past where that person who would give advice to could never sell at auction. The figures just didn't add up for them. But I think it was his auntie. She was wanting to sell her property to emigrate. So who did he ring? He ring someone who did now. So the guy who's got in touch with you, Mark, he's obviously seen you, followed you, got to know you, asked you the question, you give him honest advice. Anyone asks him, well, yeah, I need to sell my house fast. The first person they're going to say is, well,
He's going to give it a go.
speak to Mark and Vicky. They'll tell you the truth. They won't send you down the garden path. They'll tell you exactly how it's going to work and what figures you're actually going to get. And it's always going to put you in good stead. You do a lot on social media. Have you always done social media, or is it something you love to do, something you really enjoy, or is it just out of necessity and you know you need to do it? How do you feel about social media as a whole?
I've it, I've come out of my comfort zone to do it a hell of a lot more, but I have done it. I'd say I've done social media for previous projects, shall we say, for about 15, 16 months. And over that time, I have become more comfortable with it. But what I'd say is, even if it is uncomfortable, it is a necessity. People do take notice. And when you do start to just be consistent with it, you will see, your views have gone up, people have reached out to you. It does work. And people pull a face when they go, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting my face on camera. It's not for me. That I'll just send messages. But it's like you say, people do buy into people, and you do have to put your face out there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time really I've delved into the world of shall we say, proper social media, not just posting the kids and this, that, and the other. But I had a look this morning, and I think our reach, my personal one is now, I've only got 144 followers, but my insights, I'm reaching 6,800 people on there. That's the thing that gets me as well, is your followers don't necessarily dictate how many views you're going to get.
You change the algorithms all change now, where it's not. It used to be on how many followers you get. You had is how much you exposure your social media content gets. But now it's changed. It's all about, do people want to watch it? And if you break it down, and that's because I used to post a lot of social media when I first started, and it was all like, we can buy your house for cash. There was no social side of it. I was just trying to sell. And then I remember watching a couple of videos and delving into it. And it's if you give anyone content that they see that actually worthy of me watching it, because we're at the time now, aren't we? Where it's like, have you ever recently watched a program and there's adverts in the middle of the program, and you're like, what are these? You think you're watching a program at record, and you try and skip the adverts, but you can't because you're watching it live, and you've got to sit there and you're like, I don't want to watch these adverts because we're not used to it anymore. Everyone wants something dead quick. And I think that's the problem with it.
I think as well, I think people get a little bit hung up and overthink the content and overthink what their friends and family might think about them posting on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, whatever. And I think you have got to get past that and just think, I don't care what Karen down the pub's going to think about me, social media, because at the end of the day, she don't pay me bills. I think you have got to get past other people's opinions really don't matter. You just got to let it go.
Well, it's like when we walk into the Albion, and there's a gentleman that we know very well in there, and he will literally always rip something that I've put on. He'll give me a little slide dig, and then he'll leave it. But then there's other people in there that go, "You sold the shop. How much did you sell it for?" And I know I'm not connected to them on TikTok or Instagram, but they've seen it, and then they're asking questions.
It's a conversation starter.
Yeah. And you have got the likes of that person always takes the mick out. It takes the mick out of my stuff as well. But at the end of the day, he likes stuff, he shares stuff, and he comments, even if it's a sarcastic comment, don't matter. It's engagement. And his friends are seeing it and his family are seeing it. So you do have to get past the not giving a damn what people think.
Yeah, it's like when we were having the not a spat, but there was a conversation going on one of the posts we put on regarding the shop, and there was a guy saying they're going to be blind. Whoever buys that's got to be blind. So I just responded with, "Oh no, absolutely. Oh no, he wanted Ray. I hope Ray Charles is bidding." So I just put back to him. I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Upper Mill really needs a music shop, so that'd be fantastic."
Yeah,
and he's not realising that the more he comments back to me, the more exposure that post is then getting.
the more engagement. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? You've got to look at it and go, well, you just put that comment in, I've commented again, I've replied, and you threw another comment in, and you threw another comment in. And then someone goes, wow, look at all the comments. What's going on in this post? Oh, they're having a little back and forth here. I'll watch this. I'll save it because I want to come back. I'll save it and come back to it. It's like, I've never done it. I don't know whether you may have not done it. Like rate my plate when people post a
Oh, yeah.
picture of the dinner. I'm rate, and how many people go on it and comment? Sometimes thousands of comments of someone's chips and sausage.
that have been cooked with a lighter.
Yeah, well, that's the comment, isn't it? What you
Yeah.
just said is the comment that you'd put, and someone would go, "Oh, that's funny." Or go, "No, it's not." And it's that, isn't it? It's getting that engagement. It's like I posted the property I had in Solihull last month on TikTok, and in the end, it ended on 53,000 views because it was run down, and everyone was saying, "Who's going to buy that? Who's going to buy that? I wouldn't buy that." So you'd have one conversation say, £495,000 for that. It's a shell. Who's going to buy that? And then another person was like, wow, I couldn't get that where I live for that much money. I'd have to spend treble that amount to get anything like that. So it's that engagement that once you get it, because a lot of people are in especially the stuff that's really run down, they're excited to see what's actually inside them houses.
Yeah, there is like a morbid interest in the inside of really run down places, isn't there? And people love all that kind of stuff.
Well, there's nothing worse like when we're going through Rightmove, having a look and trying to find some direct to vendor, and they've only got 2 pictures, and you see the front and you think, oh, that looks terrible, and there's a picture of the lounge, and it's like, well, where's the rest?
Yeah,
Where's
you know what's coming.
Where's the kitchen that's just full of bin bags? Where is it?
Yeah,
What
yeah, and I think that's what people always always gets that excitement, doesn't it? I remember having one, and the best comment I've ever had was, "You will only sell that if it was in Sesame Street." And I was like,
okay.
"Okay, that's a corker. Actually, I'll keep that." I remember screenshotting and saving it. Right, here we go. So auctions are full of curveballs. What unexpected thing happened recently? It's a good one, that one.
I would put that down to the shop when we had the conversation on Friday about us wanting to walk, adding up wanting to walk away, because we were getting information that one of the sellers was looking to go to a solicitor and take it off us on the Monday because they were having a little spat between themselves. So that it was like massive curveball because you're like, right, nearly at the auction now. You're taking the mickey that you're going to throw this into the mix now on a Friday night at like, well, Friday tea time kind of thing. So yeah, that. And then I basically told them straight that, do you know what? Do what you want. I don't need this kind of stress in my life. Try to sell it for you. You've been trying to sell it yourself for 3.5 years. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm happy to walk away today. Keep your property. Literally stick it. I'm not bothered. But within 2 hours, I was getting like, please, thank yous. Yeah, really looking forward to making sure it goes through on Wednesday. Yeah, no problem. I consent to this. I consent to that. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was like, this is weird. This is just weird. I've basically told you to take your property, and now you're thanking me for that, and you're looking forward to the auction on Wednesday.
Because we look at it from one aspect. I remember someone I used to work with years ago always said, if you've got 4 people round looking at something, everyone's view is different, even though they're all looking at the same thing. And I think that's the key, isn't it? It's like we're looking at it from, wow, I've got bidders, I've got people interested in buying it. I've got people wanting to buy this. So that's great in my eyes. But then some sellers go, it's at that point, isn't it, where they know there's a good chance it gets sold, where then they have the cold feet and go, well, I haven't got to that point of realizing that I'm going to sell it yet. And I know I've been waiting for 4 weeks, but I'm still not there.
Oh well, he'd been waiting 3 years.
Yeah.
Still not got there.
No, I think that's it. I think it's very emotional for a seller. You are going to get them curveballs because when it does get to that point, like you've just said, this is going to sell. Then it's like reality its own, doesn't it? And it's like, well, I don't know if I'm ready for this now. Actually, might not go ahead now, especially if there's like 2, 3, or 4 sellers, all having to agree on the same thing. So it is emotional, and I get it. And that's one thing I'd say to anyone coming into it. be prepared for that kind of scenario where there's multiple owners as well.
Yeah. And having that in, it's hard, isn't it? Because you've got to have a bit, you'd have the empathy to go, but then there's got to be a point where you go, right, okay, I've kind of supported you to this point, but I've just got to be brutally honest. I am at the end of you need to decide on what you're going to do because it is coming. And it's just having them ground rules with your sellers, with your buyers, because it is an emotional time. And I think a lot of people, because if you can imagine from a private treaty route, we list our house. When are you going to sell it? Don't know. But in your mind, you go, well, it's going to take 6 months at least. Do you know what I mean? Maybe longer, but 4 to 6 months. So there's no instant pressure, is there? Where in
No, you've
auction,
got time to get your head round it, haven't you, and deal with your own feelings. Whereas with auction, unless you've already come to that realization, and then even then, I think you're still going to be like, oh God, this is happening.
because I know a lot of sellers don't watch the auctions, do they? I know a lot of sellers won't watch. I know a lot of my sellers in the past have just said, no, there's no way I can watch that. Can you just ring me afterwards?
I can
And I'm like,
imagine that a lot wouldn't. Yeah, and do you know, it's probably not a bad thing for them.
Yeah.
Then,
After having 3 of them watching it and WhatsApping, yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably tell them to go to work and crack on with the day if they can, and then we'll talk later.
talk later after it's done.
Yeah.
So how do you keep the balance when things get chaotic, like late night calls, weekend viewings? How do you keep them all the plates spinning, as you would say?
I think we work better under that level of pressure. Darla, I find it hard to work in a calm, cool, collected environment where there's not a lot going on. So I'd say we thrive under that pressure and that chaos, and the late night calls and the weekends and all that doesn't matter because it's just days of the week and they're just hours of the day, and you just get stuff done.
Yeah. I mean, if we need to do something on a Tuesday, we'll go do it on a Tuesday. But then if we've got work that we need to do on a Saturday, we'll do that work on a Saturday. If there's somebody wants a viewing on a Sunday, we'll go do that viewing on a Sunday, but it's literally for 2 hours out of the day. That's it.
Yeah.
The rest of the day is still
It's
there.
no big deal. I'm not precious about hours or days at all. And I think that helps. I think you can stress yourself out about having a routine or, you know, I do Monday to Friday and I clock off at 4. And then you can get really stressed out because somebody needs to talk to you at 7 o'clock because they've been in work till 6 o'clock. And you have got to be a bit more flexible around that. Well, a lot more flexible in today's world, which works for us.
Yeah. I think I took it from Tom Hartley. He regularly posts the 7 a.m. club, and one of his big hashtags is "We don't do 9 to 5." They work 364 days a year. He'll answer calls at whatever time. He'll hand cars over at whatever time.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really good work ethos. Is whenever the customer needs you, you're there.
I think it's in this day and age as well. I think in this, like the way technology is now, you've got the freedom to do what you want when you want, but you've also got to be able to, as you say, to your clients, if they're working a standard 9 till 5:30 job and then they commute home and it takes half an hour to get home and then they've got to feed the kids, bath the kids, put the kids to bed or whatever they've got to do in their time, or go to the gym, whatever they've got to do, they may be settling down at 8 o'clock at night. And they've got a question and they want it, not they want it and demand it to be answered then, but they may go, I've got to ask Vicky Mark about blah, 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 blah.
I've had loads of video calls with one of the sellers off High Street for the June auction, and it would always be between 7:30 and 9:30 at night because that was when he was available. So I'd sometimes be sat there with my tea on my knee, my phone in my hand, having a video call with him because he just needed a conversation because obviously there was stress between the 3 of them, and he just needed a conversation with somebody to just kind of calm him down and talk him through the process sometimes. And that's fine. I don't have an issue. I'm not going to tell him to wait till tomorrow morning or wait till tomorrow at 6 o'clock when it's more convenient for me. I'm just going to deal with it.
Have you always been self-employed?
I've been self-employed for a long time, probably since 2015. Yeah, 2015.
And yourself, Mark, is it
No,
always been?
No, self-employed for me has been literally 4 years. But I'd say should we say back in the old sales days, I would give customers the usual business card, and on the back of that business card, there would be my mobile number. And if you
Yeah.
need me, whatever time, just give me a ring. If you want to sort the deal out, I've done deals walking around Tesco's, doing the weekly shopping on my day off. I've had customers ringing saying, right, we did a test drive, liked everything. Do you know what, Mark? We're going to go for it. Right, fine, cheers. I'll ring the dealership. I'll get admin to ring you, and I'll get it all sorted out for you. So I've always been that way out anyway.
Yeah. And I think it helps, doesn't it, if you are that way? So advice for someone potentially being employed and then going over to self-employed, what advice would you give them, or what kind of would you say attributes they'd need, and also advice on the process from going from employed to self-employed?
Yeah.
I would say you've got to just kind of like, you can't dip your toe in the water. You can't kind of say somebody looking to come into this who's already in an employed role with a safety net of a salary and all the rest of it. You can't dip your toe in the water. You have got to be all or nothing, because that's not going to work. And you've just got to be prepared. You just get over your fears and not be frightened of what might be. You've got to change your mindset, because employed people have a very, very different mindset. And unless you're open to changing that mindset, it's probably not going to work for you.
Yeah, I'd just say it's not all going to come at once. It is going to take a few months for you to build, like we say, the social media side, build your knowledge of what self-employed is and how you work self-employed, because we all don't work the same self-employed. Other people will get up at 9 o'clock and start at 10s, 11s o'clock, but they'll work through till 8, 9 o'clock at night. It's finding what works best for you, and then not being scared when in month one you don't see any money. You've got
I
to be
think that's a
prepared.
big thing.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, they expect to see money in month 2 and month 3, and they expect to see really good money in the first 6 months. And I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but you can't assume that that's going to happen. You've got to be prepared for, it's going to be hard. You're going to have really tight months. In reality, you're going to have really tight years. But if you want it, there's only one thing to do about it, is to go and get it.
I think it's the balance, isn't it, of what I always say. 'Cause I do a lot of discovery calls with people who potentially would join. There's a lot of people self-employed, but there's also a lot of people employed. And it's what your main focus is. Because everyone's financial goals are different and everyone's focus is different. Some people want to earn 20 grand a month. Some people want to earn 5, 4, 3, whatever it is. Some people want to do a few hours a day. So I always say it all depends on what you want as a person. You need to kind of, before you take that leap, decide on what type of person you want to be and what business do you want. Do you want to just swap an employed role to do the same hours you were as a self-employed person so you earn a lot more money? Or do you want to reduce your hours but earn the same? So flexible. It is kind of, you can earn what you want, but the lifestyle revolves around you as a person.
I think that's it. And I think everyone's so different. What works for me is not going to work for somebody else. What works for somebody else is not going to work for me. Like Mark said, some people don't get up till 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm happy getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Some people are happy working till 2 a.m. I do not see 2 a.m. It's like what works for one doesn't work for somebody else, but you've got to be prepared to put in the work. That's the thing. And like I say, I don't think you can sort of test it by dipping your toe in the water. You have to be there in your mind and be ready to go for it.
Jump straight in.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a lot to do with the confidence you've got in yourself to be able to do
Definitely.
it?
You have to believe you can do it 100%. If you don't believe in yourself, in your own worth, that I can do this 100%, I quit my job, I walk into this tomorrow and I'm going to make it work.
Our friends that say, I could not do what you do.
And is that because
I
you
could
haven't got
never.
confidence?
I'd say for the most part, it's because they haven't got confidence in their own abilities. I've got friends that have got really good jobs, really very well paid jobs, that in their mind could never have a business and could never be self-employed and could never even, in their own words, manage their own time to do that.
I suppose it's not for everyone, is it?
Definitely not, no.
This role. So could you go back to being employed in an estate agent's office?
Absolutely not. No, there's not enough money in the world for me to be doing it.
So take us back, yeah. Let's take you back to your estate agency days. So could you not now think of it that way? What time did you used to start traditionally as an estate agent?
So we'd open at 9, but I'd have to be there at 8:30 because it was just what you had to do. And I would work till 6 on a normal day, sometimes a bit later, depending. Sometimes till 7 on a 8 on a Thursday. But I'd also be taking calls in the car on the way home and on the way in. And so I don't know. Oh, all told, plus the commute, Jesus.
Yeah. You did get a dinner hour though.
No dinner hour. I think I got funny looks if I dared to have a sandwich while I was still working.
And I think that's the thing. What you find is a lot of people, once they transition from employed to self-employed and they start earning the money and the business starts building, a lot of them could never go back.
No, I think that in branch, so well, I mean, I'm talking to my experience, but I go in agents these days and they don't look any different. Like nothing's moved on. So rigid in the hours, the days, they're doing weekends, they're running around like headless chickens, that dinner hour that doesn't exist. They'll just look stressed. And it's not a well paid industry to be in. Traditional branch estate agency, it's really not a well paid industry to be in. So that stressed.
That private treaty sale, isn't it? It's a stressful thing now.
I think, a lot of mine's been lettings and property management as well. Even that, it's the same thing. It's just so stressful. So many hours. No, I could never.
And you, Mark, you could go back to the car
No.
dealership now,
No.
selling cars.
No. I'd end up telling him where to stick it. I mean, I used to tell him where to go anyway, but I'd really tell him where to go now and actually walk out the door.
Yeah, it's a different thing, isn't it? Being your own, because it's that being your own boss and working for yourself. But on another thing though is it does stop with you, doesn't it? So you've got to be able to self-reflect and go. It's like if you don't sell something, or if you had a bad month, there's no one in a normal job. If you didn't hit your target and didn't sell or whatever, and you still got paid, your boss, your manager, your boss would go, "You haven't done well this month. What's the blame?" Majority of times, people in employed roles don't go, "Well, it's me." They go, "Oh, it's because of this or because of that." And I always find it's like estate agents have always got a reason why the market's bad.
Oh God, yeah. There's always an excuse.
Yeah, the weather, the interest rates, the
Time of the
war,
year,
the
all sorts.
time of the year,
Christmas,
Christmas,
Start nights.
start of summer. Yeah, school
kid holidays.
holidays, all of it.
Yeah. So there's always something. But with being self-employed and you're your own boss, if you have a bad month, you've got to look at yourself. And I think I've found that's a lot of time that's some people can't adjust to that the blame, it's down to themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. They can't pinpoint, well, do you know what? I've not really pulled my own weight this month. I could have actually got that deal, but for whatever reason I didn't do it in the right way. I didn't have the right conversations. I've not talked to enough sellers because like you say in employed roles, you don't say that. It's every other excuse. Wendy's been off, so I've had to pick up her workload and this and that and the other. It's never I could have done better. Whereas now you do. I could have done better.
I don't want to say we speak to ourselves because that sounds a bit, but we probably do. It's
I
having
do
them
though.
hard conversations
She does.
with yourself, isn't it? And going, have you really done what you said you were going to do?
Yeah, it is. It's that thing of have I actually worked as hard as I could have done? Have I had enough conversations? Have I really put the effort in? Have I tried to contact that person maybe as many times as I could have done?
And only you realistically as that individual know, don't you? What one piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to join the property industry? Not just auctions, but the property industry as a whole.
I was going to say, have thick skin because you're going to get no's, 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 and then some more no's, and then shouted at because you've told them the real value of what the current bricks and mortar's worth instead of what other agents necessarily lift the prices up to get the business. And you just need to be able to deal with that. You just need to be able to deal with just resilience, really, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Get comfortable with telling people the truth and being honest. and just get really comfortable with that and get really comfortable with their reactions, which is generally not going to be all smiles and cartwheels. They're not going to like it. And don't try and win listings just because you want the listings. Like, you've got to be realistic with what you're going to do with that listing. And if you can't sell it, don't bother getting it.
It's all about sales. That's all that matters.
Yeah. If I can't sell it, I don't want to list it. And it's quite as simple as that. And if that means I don't have any listings in a month, or I only have one listing in a month that I sell, I'm happy with that over 5 listings that I've made the vendor feel better about themselves for, but I can't actually do it. I can't actually take them anywhere.
Yeah, you're not going to sell it. I always say this to everyone starting out. If you look at it this way, you will do the same work on a property that you don't sell as the same work as the property you do sell. So it's okay if you're employed and running around and got 30 houses on the market, but you'd only sell one, because that's just the way the world works. But if you're doing it as a self-employed person, if you're having to deal with 30 properties but only sell one, you only get paid on the one. The 29 that you didn't sell kind of just wasted your time.
I think that's the biggest thing for employed people to maybe have to try and get their head around before changing into anything else, is they are so used to wasting somebody else's time because they are on somebody else's payroll. Whereas if they're going to come into this or any other kind of property role or any other role that's self-employed, you've got to learn to stop wasting your own time, because your time is your money. It's no longer somebody else's time for your safety net of a salary, and you've got to change that whole mindset.
Think about it's all about. I think it's about, isn't it? It's structuring your day. So go on. I start today as an auction expert. Give us one tip each of what I would do. If I was starting out today, what would you say would be your best bit of advice to start today to start building my business? One tip each.
Get friendly with chatting and get you and literally get it all set up with everything you need, so everything's ready. So if you want an email, get an email, and then I would say that's one of the biggest things.
Set up with all your systems,
Yeah.
so you know exactly what you're doing.
I'd say get your face out there and get talking to people, whether that's face-to-face conversations or whether that is on your social media, to get people looking at your face and get people to know who you are, like, from day one and what you do.
Some great tips for any potential person going from employed, self-employed, or just wanting to get in the property industry. So on that note, I'll say, there you go, because you're not in the studio, but you'll be able to still see it. There's Vicky and Mark's episode of the Gavel Drops done. And to be fair, I usually try and get everyone to sing, but they were adamant they weren't going to sing at all.
You don't want me to sing.
Is that trademark? We wouldn't want.
No.
Or has Vicky got an amazing voice? No.
No.
Hey, it's a good job you're there and she's in the other room.
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying it. I'm safe now.
I can empty a karaoke bar, no problem.
Maybe on the next one we'll get you up and singing. But thanks for coming on, and that's been a great
Thank
episode.
you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
No